Sawadee-ka. So yesterday, Timmy and I talked about what excites you. And I had to cut the video short because, well, there was something that excited me that needed to be taken care of, paid attention to. So I was excited yesterday and happy. Well, he's right. He's absolutely right. One leads to another. Excitement leads to happiness. Not a doubt in my mind. I can confirm that. I'm here to say hallelujah. All right, so let's talk about adult onset ADD. It's an adventure deficit disorder. Oh, he's so clever with words, that Timmy. So very clever. Somewhere between college graduation and your second job, a chorus enters your internal dialogue. Be realistic and stop pretending. Life isn't like the movies. So that happened with me for music. My buddy who passed away from COPD, Lee, Sandro, I did a video on him, put his picture up in the front. Back in high school, we were buddies. He wanted to be a writer in the worst way, and unfortunately, like I said, he wrote a novel once. He actually sat down and wrote a novel, which most people don't take the time to do. But when I ran it through a program that says your writing level, like what college level, high school, he came in at a 5th grade writing level. So obviously he wasn't meant to be a writer. Now, could he have taken courses and writing and things and gotten a better vocabulary, whatever? Sure. Yeah, he could have. But whatever. He's gone now. I'm going to talk bad about the dude, but he never made it as a writer. I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to be in a band, and I did exactly what Timmy just said. And I said, okay, time to go get a real job. Band's not realistic. Very few people make it. Blah 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 blah. So later on, years later, in my 40s, I was in a band and I had a fucking blast, and it was great. And I probably should have gone for it when I was 19, 20, but, well, whatever. You know, we all make mistakes. Not everybody pretty. We all want to be pretty, but not everybody pretty. So, but life isn't like the movies, right? If you're 5 years old and say you want to be an astronaut, your parents tell you that you can be anything you want to be. It's harmless, like telling a child that Santa Claus exists. If you're 25 and announce you want to start a new circus, the response is different. Be realistic. Become a lawyer or accountant or a doctor. Have babies. Raise them to repeat the cycle. If you do manage to ignore the doubters and start your own business, for example, ADD doesn't disappear. It just takes a different form. When I started Brain Quicken LLC in 2001, it was with a clear goal in mind. Make $1,000 per day, whether I was banging my head on a laptop, whether I was banging my head on a laptop or cutting my toenails on the beach. He does some weird shit. He really does. He's out there, different type of cat, which is good. It's obviously, thank God, he's a different type of cat because he wrote this book. But cutting your toenails on the beach is just fucking weird. It was to be an automated source of cash flow, and that it was. It did what it was designed for. If you look at my chronology, it is obvious that this didn't happen until a meltdown forced it, because he was in the way in the beginning, right? Despite the requisite income. Why? The goal wasn't specific enough. Here we go. This is going to help you, a lot of you guys out. I hadn't defined alternate activities that would replace the initial workload. Therefore, I just continued working, even though there was no financial need. I needed to feel productive and had no other vehicles. There you go. He's that alpha male. We talk about that driven guy who always needs to be achieving something, even if it's a leisure activity, tango, kickboxing, whatever. Writing a book. When you write a book, and I haven't written one, but I can figure this out. Common sense tells you when you write a book, you get a sense of achievement when you're done. And then you get further gratification when it sells and other people enjoy your book and give you feedback, right? But just getting it done is an achievement, and he's an achiever, obviously, has been his whole life. Feel productive, no other vehicles. This is how most people work until death. I'll just work until I have X dollars and then do what I want. If you don't define the what I want alternative activities, the X figure will increase indefinitely to avoid the fear-inducing uncertainty of this void. You got to fill your brain with something, good stuff or garbage. That's what the positive mind plan was all about. Positive action plan was all about filling your mind with good stuff and not garbage. You also have to fill your time with good stuff or garbage or work, which you might not consider work garbage, but once you've reached your goal, then work is garbage, because like he said, he had his financial goal met, but he didn't have anything to replace work with, so he just kept working to the point where he had a breakdown, nervous breakdown. Fear and uncertainty of this void. This is when both employees and entrepreneurs become fat men in red BMWs. Hey now, I love my BMW, and I was fat, so 300-pound man in a BMW, but it was gray. It was silver gray BMW. It wasn't a red one. Hey Timmy, hey man, why you want to be like that? I love that fucking car. 550i, twin turbo, 4.4 liter. It was a great fucking car. Well, I don't know why he wants to pick on me like that. I'm a fat man in a BMW. I was a happy fat man in a BMW, as a matter of fact. The whole next chapter. The fat man in the BMW convertible. Mine wasn't a convertible. It was a sedan, but still. He's doing a whole chapter. Well, not a chapter, a whole paragraph on it. Okay, let's see what Timmy has to say about me in my silver 550i, which I loved. And I'm sweating. Time for the helicopter to hover in the background on the mic. You hear that? Hear that? Yeah, that's the fan. Fat man, no longer in his BMW, but fat man sweating. And yeah, I have the AC on. I get hot unless it's blowing cold on me. I run hot. The fat man in the red BMW convertible. There have been several points in my life, among them just before I was fired from Trusan, and just before I escaped the U.S. to avoid taking an Uzi into a McDonald's. Dark thoughts, Timmy. Shit, man. At which I saw my future as another fat man in a midlife crisis BMW. I simply looked at those who were 15 to 20 years ahead of me on the same track, whether a director of sales or an entrepreneur in the same industry, and it scared the hell out of me. It was such an acute phobia and such a perfect metaphor for the sum of all fears that it became a pattern interrupt between myself and fellow lifestyle designer and entrepreneur Douglas Price. Doug and I traveled parallel paths for nearly 5 years, facing the same challenges and self-doubt, and thus keeping a close psychological eye on each other. Our down periods seemed to alternate, making us a good team. Whenever one of us began to set our sights lower, lose faith, or accept reality, the other would chime in via phone or email like an AA sponsor. Dude, are you turning into the bald, well, at least I'm not bald, thank God, bald fat man in the red BMW convertible? The prospect was terrifying enough that we always got our asses and priorities back on track immediately. The worst that could happen wasn't crashing and burning, it was accepting terminal boredom as a tolerable status quo. Remember, boredom is the enemy, not some abstract, quote, failure. All right, I get what he's saying. He was using the red BMW convertible and the guys you typically see driving them as what he did no longer wish to aspire to. When he started Brain Quicken, he had that mindset. I want to get a nice car, maybe Mercedes, maybe Beamer, Jag, whatever. Everybody has a different dream luxury car. Maybe if you're like to go fast, Lamborghini, Ferrari, right? An Italian Exotica, Bugatti, right? But whatever your dream car was, when he started Brain Quicken, he had that mindset of, I'm going to get a bunch of income and buy nice stuff. And somewhere along the way, he started saying, well, wait a minute, once I have this stuff, I'm just all tied down. And especially because, remember, he went to Japan at an early age, and I don't think he mentions this in this book. We'll see if it comes in later on. But when Japan is known for their minimalism, they live very simple lives without a lot of material goods, and it's beautiful. If you study Japanese architecture and houses and rooms, it's very beautiful because it's so minimalist. It's so clean. It's so uncluttered. Uncluttered is a good word for minimalist. And obviously Tim was influenced by that at a young age, 15 or 16, I think he went to Japan. So that minimalist thinking, he started to think, what if I apply that to my goals and to my dreams? And what if I make my dreams just the fun part? The going to Argentina and learning to tango, going to China and kickboxing, travel the world and see different places. It's fun, it's exciting, and it doesn't require me to be a millionaire. He discovered that, he figured that out. I think because of the minimalist influence from Japan. That's what I think. Once again, he hasn't said it yet. Maybe he says it later in the book. I don't know. I don't know if he ever says it, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what my takeaway is from that. Either way, he came up with the idea. And the red BMW, like I said, my car was a great car. I absolutely love that car. It's probably the best car I ever drove. Comfortable, obviously leather seats, luxury. BMW is known for luxury. It's a 5 Series, so it's a little bit more upscale than the 3 Series. Great car. I had a lot of fun in it, but that car didn't define who I was, because here I am in Thailand doing the quote lifestyle design, right? I gave that car to my buddy Rob. He just took over payments. I didn't ask for a down payment or anything because he had helped me a lot then building that company up, the brokerage company, real estate, and he's helping me now a ton because he's my boots on the ground there, right? If I need a phone call made, Rob makes the phone call, so here, dude, here's a BMW. And now he felt better about himself because he was a good guy, he was a smart guy, but he wasn't making a ton of money. It didn't all come together for him yet at that point. But certainly once he started driving the Beamer, he felt better about himself because his car before was nothing that he was proud of. So just by getting a new car, that helped his self-esteem, and he went on to have the best year financially that he's had in a long, long time, if not ever. So I love Timmy. I think he's a genius. I'm reading every single word of this book and I'm drinking it in. But I will say that BMW, my old BMW, I think had a very positive effect on the guy who got it. I think it helped him, take it to the next level. Now, once again, Timmy's right because I walked away from it, right? And it didn't crush me to lose my BMW. And in fact, when I got here, because karma's funny. Some people say karma's a bitch. Karma's funny. Karma has a sense of humor. When I got here, I was driving my ex-girlfriend's car. She had a car when I met her, and it was a woefully underpowered miniature car. So here's this big, fat foreigner, 300 pounds, when 297 I was, and I came over and I've lost weight, but in the beginning I was huge in this little tiny, if you've ever heard of a Suzuki Swift, this is the model down from that. Suzuki Celerio, it's called, like celery with an I-O on the end. 1 liter 3-cylinder motor makes 68 horsepower. It's a go-kart. It's the Fred Flintstone mobile. You're trying to get up a hill, you floor it, you're going 20 kilometers an hour, which is 12 miles an hour, something like that. And you floor it trying to get up a hill, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't move past 20. It just makes a lot of noise. The engine just goes, but it doesn't move. You're still going 12 miles an hour up the hill. Little fucking putt-putt mobile. So if I defined myself, if my self-esteem was based on what I was driving, going from a twin-turbo BMW to a Suzuki Celerio, that would have fucked my whole world up. But I just laughed. I was like, I called it the mighty, mighty Suzuki. I was like, come on, little Suzuki, come on. When you lean forward in a slow car to make it go faster. And of course it doesn't go faster, but that's what you do. You lean forward. I just laughed. I just fucking laughed at the whole situation of me driving that little crappy car coming from the Beamer in America. I didn't care. I was happy I'm in Thailand, right? And that kind of backs up his point of it's not about the material goods, because I traded a $70,000 BMW for a $5,000 Suzuki, and I was happy. I didn't give a shit. So everything he's saying is true, but do consider, I feel that the BMW helped my boy Rob. It lifted his game up. It gave him confidence. He liked to watch the $1 Million Agent, $1 Million real estate shows, and here he is driving a car that guys on that show drive, Mercedes or Beamer. They all have them because it's a status symbol, and to a certain extent, it does matter in real estate. I had a $700,000 listing at the beach, and I pulled up in my old Jeep Wrangler because I'm me and I don't give a shit, right? So and it needed paint. It was 3 different colors. It was a piece of shit Jeep, but I liked it. It's a Jeep. It's fun, Jeep Wrangler. I was a Jeep guy. And the lady who owned the house is like, can you park that down the street a little bit? Because it matters, right? Image matters. Here I am in a fucking suit, monkey suit, and I'm driving a fucking 94 Wrangler, because I liked it. 6-cylinder, had the hardtop, it was Jeep. Jeeps are cool, but not for a $720,000 listing open house. Much cooler to pull up in the Beamer. So, once again, Timmy, 99.9% correct, but there is that 0.1% where I think driving the nicer car helped my buddy have a better year and be more successful. And the idea is he'll grow to the point where what he drives doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? But right now, that last year, I think driving the nice car helped him, whatever. I don't want to say self-esteem because he always knew he could do it, but it helped. Look good, feel good type deal. So he was always a sharp dresser. Now he had the car to match, the way his appearance. Now his car's appearance matched his appearance, and I think that helped. So yes, listen to what Timmy says. He's absolutely right. Losing the Beamer did not change me as a person. It didn't make me unsuccessful in Thailand, blah, blah, blah. Yes. But also consider the case of my buddy who, having a nice ride, helped him have the best year of his life, get him closer to his goals. So, both sides. Both sides are true. Both things can be true. Life is not always black and white. Sometimes there's gray, a little strip in the middle.